keep rocking.
Keep rocking.
Now, I'm gonna ask a very challenging question right now. Everybody at the round tables in the back, I'm gonna offer you guys a challenge if you don't mind. I'm gonna ask you guys to stand up, stop talking to each other, and move to these seats right here, so that you can join your fellow people. Wasim, lead the charge for me, brother. Help me grab these people who are at these round tables and bring them to these seats up here in the front. This SC2, baby, we want to end this thing on a bang. Who wants to end SC2 on a bang? We're going to get out there and make some more phone calls, do some more demos. Summer's not over yet. We got a few weeks left before the fall starts. Come on, bring them on up. Who wants to win a scholarship this summer? Who wants to finish this summer their best summer ever? Come on, let's do this. Run if you have to run. Run if you have to run. It's an honor to be here. I'm really excited to be talking to you guys today. And I want to start by telling you a story. I want to tell you about one of my best friends from high school. And one of my best friends from high school. He's a really cool guy, and I'm still a great friend of mine. Love him to death. Still love him, actually. And he actually came from a really good background. Like, had great parents. They worked really hard, raised him really well. There were 5 boys in the family, so mom and dad worked the graveyard shifts to raise the 5 boys. He got good grades in school, and got taught to work hard. Got his first job at 13. Started making decent money at 13, I guess, for a 13-year-old, and then worked ever since then. But also was kind of a troublemaker. Some of the challenges that he faced was, he was in jail 5 times by the time he graduated high school. Had some drug and alcohol issues. In fact, him and a couple friends stole a keg from a charity dinner in high school. Stupid stuff, right? He used to, cuss at his mom, tell her that she was not as smart as he was, and actually spent his last day of high school in jail, like missed his last day of high school because he was in jail. And it was really interesting because a lot of people thought that he had a lot of potential in his life, that he was going to be able to do great things if only he could just get things in order. And for him, he was just having a lot of challenges, really struggling. And there were people in his life that were wondering, like, hey, what are you doing? Making dumb choices. You're risking your future. You've got so much potential in you. Here's what's really interesting about that person. Right? The most interesting thing about him is that person, you guys want to know who he is? I'll show you a picture of him if you want to see it. That person, ooh, where'd it go? There it is. That person was me. It was me. It was me. And what's funny is, like, I remember there was a moment in my life where my dad had brought me home from jail. And I thought that he was going to scream and yell at me and ground me and kind of go through the normal thing that we went through in those moments in our life together at that point. And it was interesting because it was an hour drive home. And I remember it was really quiet. I remember my dad didn't say anything. We got home. I went up to my bedroom. Sat in my bedroom for an hour, and I was like, that was really weird. Something's different. And I remember my dad came in about an hour later, and he sat down next to me, and he said to me, Josh, I'm your dad. You're my son. I'm always going to love you, no matter what. I just want you to know I'm really disappointed in the decisions that you're making. And I feel like you've just got so much more in you than what you're given in life right now. That's all I'm going to say. You're not grounded. You're an adult now. You can do whatever you want. I just hope that you decide to make better choices. In that moment, something changed in me. I remember thinking to myself, like, wow, this is the guy that, like, I've been watching my entire life. Work hard, raise a family, pay our bills, provide such a great life for us. The person that I looked up to most in my life at that point, telling me that they were disappointed in me, that I'd let them down. I remember feeling something inside where I was like, something's got to change. I got to do something different. The next week, I moved out. I got an apartment 2 hours away in the city. I grew up in a really small town in northern Michigan. Got an apartment a couple hours away in the city. I was working at Taco Bell. Yeah. We're going to Taco Bell, selling tacos. I'd actually worked at Taco Bell before, so it was like easy to get that job somewhere else because I had experience, right? And experience. So, and I got out on my own and very quickly realized, holy smokes, like I got to pay, I'm on probation. I'm in, I'm like in touch with the courts. I enrolled in school, so I had to pay tuition. I didn't have any. I was the kid that when I graduated high school, I was like, yeah, I'm just going to hang out for a year, see how things go. No college applications, nothing. Like I had no sight for my future. And so when I moved out, and got into school, I had to pay for it on my own. My budget was a lot. And then I found Cutco. And, what's funny is when I found Cutco, I was like, this is going to be the thing. But I still had some problems. I still had some issues. Like I was the guy that hit on receptionists in our office. I was the guy that like came into the office demanding base pay, even though I made more commission than I earned on base pay. And I was like, so that's how you screw people, right? I was the guy that my manager actually sat down and almost fired because I had some bad habits, some bad attitude. And so, fast forward 15 years later, it's been now. We run one of the largest Cutco, distributorships out there. Had a lot of success. Eric just told you about it. But see, what most people don't tell you is about all the challenge and the hardship that people go through to get to that success. And so today I want to talk to you about what changed. What made the difference? How did I go from being that punk, hippie kid who thought he knew everything, disrespected his parents, got good grades, yeah, I was raised by a great family, but took that stuff for granted, misbehaved all the time, and made a lot of bad decisions in his life, to being the guy that is where I am today. I want to share with you guys my secret formula to success. So what was the difference? The difference was the choices that I was making. So I want to talk to you today about the types of choices you can make today in your business, moving forward, to get to the top level of success, to reach and sustain the levels of high performance, of high achievement that each and every one of you I know wants to get to. Each and every one of you has got something inside of you that you want to accomplish. And I want to share with you today the things that helped me back then get to the place where I could win 3 silver cups, sell $500,000 in a year, run multiple businesses, find the woman of my dreams, marry her, and have a great, amazing, happy lifestyle. Be financially free. You guys want to hear about that?
Yeah.
Here's what I need you to do today, right? I want you, by the end of my message, to have a bigger belief and a clear path on how you can get there too. It's not going to be easy. It's going to take hard work. Here's what you need to do today in order to get the most out of this message. I need you to take great notes. I need you to be fully present today for the next half hour. Can I count on you for that? Yeah. Most important, can I count on you for that?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Most importantly, I need you guys to take action when you leave. My wife and I, we got incorporated in 2009, and I remember very vividly the meeting where we sat down together. We were actually on a vacation, and we were like, maybe we should incorporate because it's going to be good for us tax-wise. It's going to cost some money, but there's benefits. So we're like, what's going to be the name of our business? And we named our business Fast Action. And the reason we named it that was because when we sat down, when we talked about what are we really all about? What has actually gotten us to where we are today? And at that point, we weren't anywhere near where we are now. But at that point, we were like, what has been the difference maker? And what's always been the difference maker for us is that we take massive action to get to where we want to go. And that's the secret in life, right? How many of you have heard that old saying, knowledge is power? Anybody? Raise your hand if you've heard it. But here's what I like to say. Because knowledge only becomes power when we combine it with action. Knowledge only becomes power when we combine it with action. So I need you guys not only to take notes today, be open to maybe doing things differently moving forward than how you're currently doing them right now. I need you to be committed to implementing some of the stuff that you've learned today. Not just from me, but the stuff you've learned from other people. We had the pleasure of hearing Eric Gilman. How many of you guys loved hearing Eric Gilman today? Yeah, make some noise. Like if you enjoyed Eric's talk. There you go. How many of you guys learned? I love that Eric talked about discipline. That's what I wrote down from Eric's talk was discipline, right? Was it Ashley that talked earlier, right? Ashley, branch manager. Is that her name? Yeah, where's Ashley? There she is. Ashley, I wrote down, I need to ask Ashley how she got on TEDx. That's what I wrote down during Ashley's talk. During Mike's talk, I wrote down the power of belief. How many of you guys loved celebrating with Mike today? Yeah. If you enjoyed celebrating with Mike today, can I hear you go, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, yeah. Those are the only talks I got to hear today. I wish I was here all day, but I was actually in Austin this morning doing a training for the Austin events team. Right? And then I told them when I left, I was like, hey guys, I'm gonna go hop on a plane because I'm actually training your competition tomorrow. And they were like, say what? And I was like, yeah, GCK is gonna destroy you. How many of you guys are excited about destroying the Lone Star team this year? Yeah? All right, cool. So a little healthy competition right there. They were like, no, you tell them we're gonna destroy them. Just so you know, challenge is up, right? But here's what it takes, right? The choices that we make, they make all of the difference. When the majority of the choices that you make in your life are choices that are not good for you, that are, you know, what people would call bad decisions, then you're gonna end up having a lot of not good stuff happening in your life, a lot of bad stuff happening in your life. Now, here's the interesting thing. None of us is perfect. None of us will make perfect choices all of the time. What's important is that we make more good choices than we do not good choices. And we make more choices that align with our goals than we make choices that disalign with our goals. There's really only two types of choices that you can make. If you have a goal in mind, if you have a place that you want to get to, you want to have a 10K push, then you have to make the choices that align with actually getting that type of result. If you want to get straight A's in college, then you have to make the choices that align with you actually getting those types of results. How many students do we have in the room? If you're a student, high school, college, great. Most of you in this room, you guys are students. That's amazing, right? If you're making choices like going out and partying all night long, every single Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and sometimes some Thursday nights in college, and you want to get straight A's in college, I got news for you. That choice does not align with your with your goal of getting straight A's in college. You follow? Right? So we have to consistently make choices that align with our goals. I want to share with you the 7 choices that have made the difference for me consistently year after year after year. You know, Erica said something to me the other day. He's like, or earlier today, when we were talking about, you know, just getting ready to come up here and give this talk, and he's like, you know, Josh, one of the things you've really inspired me about is that you just have sustained success over the long haul, and you can tell it's going to last, right? And I said, that's so cool, because that's what I'm going to talk about today, is how do you actually sustain success through the choices that you make. I call these championship choices. So I want to talk to you. Number one, you got to work hard. Every single one of us, we got to work hard. You know, there's an old saying that nothing worth accomplishing was ever easy. Nothing worth accomplishing was ever easy. You got to work hard, plain and simple. If you want to get good grades in college, you got to work hard. If you want to recruit a lot of people for your district or your branch office this summer or next, you've got to work hard. If you want to sell a lot of Cutco, you have to work hard. You want to sell 10 grand in a push? I got news for you. It's going to be harder the first time you do it than it will be the second, the third, and the fourth time. It took me 5 years of working push weeks, guys, to learn how to sell 10 grand in a push. 5 years it took me to have my first 10K push. But I never gave up. I worked hard every single push. I got better and better and better. You know, my fast start, I sold less than $2,000 in my first 10 days. How many of you guys know that? Like, I mean, how many of you guys are in that same boat? Like, you sold less than 2 grand in your first 10 days. 3 grand, 4 grand. How many of you sold less than 5 grand in your first 10 days? Raise your hand, be proud, it's okay. Look, some of the best in the business, keep your hands up. So if you're a CSP in this room, which means you're over 150K career sales, and you sold less than 5 grand in your fast start, please stand up. I want you guys to see this really quick. So me, Frank Delgado, Eric Gilman, Mike Lanzetta, all sold less than 5 grand in their fast start. How many of you would have guessed that? See what I mean? It takes hard work. It's not about the result you get today. It's about how many times you're willing to fall down to get the result that you're after on the way to getting there, on the way to figuring it out. Second thing, stay hungry, stay humble. Stay hungry, stay humble. Ashley said it perfectly earlier, one of my favorite quotes. People are like plants. If we're not growing, we're dying. You gotta stay hungry. Learn new stuff. Keep coming to events. How many of you are willing to come to CFC in a few weeks and party with us in Austin? Raise your hand if you're excited about that. Seriously, sign up for that conference now. Don't wait. Do it now. Come to every single division meeting. Go to your team meetings. Go to every single region conference. Get to a national conference. We have 3 national training conferences every single year in the spring and leading into the summer. It's the best training. You get to hang out with the best of the best in the business. How many of you guys are excited about coming to events training tomorrow and learning how to make Cutco events part of your business? Make some noise if you're excited about that. Yeah, Cutco events training is awesome. Right? Stay hungry for new stuff, but more importantly, stay humble. Stay humble. You know, the best in the business, what you'll notice, is that they're very humble people. They're very humble. You know, they're willing to help. They're willing to have that conversation. They're not walking around talking about all the stuff they're going to do. Sure, they may talk about stuff that they have done, but behind the scenes, they're just out there doing the work. They're working hard, they're staying humble, and they're always growing, always improving, always getting better. So what can you get better at this fall? What's the next thing for you? What's your next level? I want you to think about that for a second. What's the one thing in your business right now and the one thing in your personal life right now? I want you to write down these 2 things. The number 1 thing in your personal life that you want to improve in next. What is that? Write it down. What's the number 1 thing in your business that you want to improve in next? Write that down. And then stay hungry for becoming a master at that one thing. If it's the phones, that's great. Who's the person that you need to talk to that's getting better results than you already on the phone? If it's leads, if it's closing, if it's your average order, that's great. Don't sit there and worry about or fear that you're never going to make it. Instead, start asking yourself the question, who do I need to talk to? Who do I need to learn from in order to get better in that area? Stay hungry and stay humble. Even when you're the best in the division, you have to stay hungry and stay humble. For me, a few years ago, I thought I was good at Cutco events. About 4 or 5 years ago, I was like, yeah, you know, I'm good. I know what I'm doing. My attitude for a couple years was like, I'm good. I know what I'm doing. I'm getting great results. I'm just gonna, you know, keep coasting, doing my thing. And suddenly what I noticed is that other people around me started doing a lot better than me, right? Because I'd lost the hunger and I'd lost my humility. I started to get a little cocky, a little arrogant about how good I was. Happens to all of us sometimes. And I recognized it, and I remember saying to myself, you know what? I need to humble myself. I need to get hungry again for being the best at this. For doing, not being the best out there, but doing my best. Being the best me that I can be. And so I invested the time and the dollars to go out and train with the best people in the business and see what they were doing. And by doing that, by picking up the phone and saying, hey, you're getting better results than me, can I come train with you? There were people who were like, well, say what? But they were always like, sure. And so I went out and trained with them. And in a year, I doubled my averages at the booth. I doubled my averages on my service call. That was how I went from selling a couple $100,000 a year to selling $500,000 a year. I didn't work any harder. I just worked smarter. And I stayed hungry and stayed humble. So what's the next thing for you? Write that thing down and start getting in touch with people. Start staying humble and asking for help. Your manager, your coach, your mentor, your CSP, your FSM, they don't know you need it unless you ask for it. Number 3, invest in your business. Invest in your business. Get organized. Set up systems. The number 1 thing you can do if you've just started in the last couple months, like this summer, is on every single order form, keep the copy that's for you. Keep that rep copy. 3-hole punch it, write some notes down on every single customer on that thing, put it in a binder, right? And then at some point, invest in a system that tracks that information for you, a CRM, a database, an Excel spreadsheet, just something. Invest the time and energy into organizing your customers. Because here's what I'll tell you, right? Invest in your training for the events program. Invest in working the events program. Invest in your customers. You know, buy them some peelers and give them some peelers when they give you lots of leads. Invest in your business. Invest in your sample kit. Buy some extra knives. Add to your sample kit. When I was brand new, here's what I would do every single month. Right? I was not making a lot of money. I mean, I was working hard, but I was going to school full time. So I was doing like 5, 10 demos a week around school, driving 3 hours on the weekend to where I knew people, and I was making the sacrifice. And I was making just enough to pay my bills every month. But the other thing that I was doing is I was setting $100 aside every month and buying Cutco for my sample kit. And I remember the first time I bought a Hardy Slicer. How many of you guys love the Hardy Slicer? Any Hardy Slicer fans? Okay, cool. I remember first time I got that Hardy Slicer, I spent the money. I was like, dang, I can't believe I'm spending this money. But I was like, well, I get CPO and I do get commission, so I'll get closer to my next promotion at least. But my manager said to me, she said, if you buy Cutco, you will sell it. And I was like, all right. So I spent back then the Hardy Slicer was like 98 bucks. Okay, yeah, sorry, a long time ago. So 98 bucks. I spent $100 on the Hardy Slicer. Back then we used to pay shipping on knives too, so I spent 98 plus shipping plus tax, right? I bought that thing, I sold 5 Hardy Slicers. 5 Hardy Slicers on my next 5 demos. That Hardy Slicer paid for itself on the next 5 appointments. Every single piece of Cutco. You should make it your goal to have every piece of Cutco in the world in your demo kit. Because the more you show, the more you sell. So invest in your business. If you're sitting there saying to yourself, I've been doing this for years, I need to get my CRM set up, but I haven't gotten around to it. I need to start marketing and emailing my customers, but I just haven't gotten around to it. I need to invest in an assistant for my business. Maybe they're new, you're not at this level yet. But there's some CSPs in this room that probably are. I'm telling you, the more you leverage your time, the more you systemize and organize your business, the easier it becomes for you to focus on the #1 most important thing that you are best at. And that is what? Sales. Exactly. Selling. It is time to stop making excuses, and it is time to invest in yourself so that you can leverage your time and invest in your future. Learn to let go. It's that simple. But invest in your business. #4, build layers. Build layers. There's so many different ways. When I started selling Cutco, guys, we could do demos and we could do service calls. And now in the last 15 years, that opportunity has expanded so much. I mean, gosh, you can go branch and that counts towards your career sales. Like you can sell this summer, branch next summer, and be making 50%. When I started, if you branched, those sales didn't count towards your career sales. You still had to sell to get like your personal sales to get to 50%. That is an awesome opportunity. I mean, that's amazing, right? It's incredible. So build layers in your business. Learn how to do service calls. Learn how to do Cutco events. Learn how to sell as much as you possibly can. Go into management. Become an assistant manager. Become a branch. Become a district if you're excited about that. Learn the realtor. Get to 100 grand so you can learn the realtor program. Learn how to sell business gifts. Learn how to do all of these things. But here's my secret to success. My secret was I did it 1 layer at a time. I made sure I got really great at demos. And then I learned how to do service calls. And the big secret, I didn't stop doing demos in order to do service calls. I still did the demos while I got great at doing the service calls, right? So I didn't set the one thing down in order to pick up the other thing. Instead, I maintained that one thing, but get great at one thing and then add the next layer, and then add the next layer, and then add the next layer, and then add the next layer. Get really great at selling homemakers. Once you're really great at selling homemakers, then learn how to get really great at selling signatures. Once you're great at selling signatures and homemakers, by the way, while you're selling signatures, still sell homemakers, right? If they can't get the signature, at least sell a homemaker or a galley or something, right? Or get really great at every single set. You get really great at homemakers, really great at signatures, really great at ultimates, really great at flatware, really great at cookware. Guess what you can start to sell? Kitchens. Exactly. But you can't sell kitchens unless you know how to sell the other stuff. Unless you know how to sell each part of it. Get really great at one thing. Once you're good at it, learn the next and learn the next. It's called the next level focus. Have that next level focus. Anyway, really quick, I want to keep in touch with you guys after this event. So here's what I want you to do. Plug your phones really quick. And if you're interested, I want to send you a worksheet that I have. It's called the layers of your business. And what I'll do, what it is, it's a worksheet where I actually show you my path to success with Cutco. Career sales, all the different programs I learned, when I learned them, all of that sort of stuff. And you can take that and design your own path. So pull out your phones, And send me an email really quick, just cspjosh@hotmail.com. Put in your name and your zip code, and then in the subject line, just put layers. This week when I get back to my office, we'll send you that worksheet. You can download it, and you can map out your own success path for the business as well. So, and everybody's is going to be different. You want to talk to your manager about it, but at least you'll have a roadmap to success that you can use to design your own roadmap to success. You can have my roadmap to success, so you can design your own roadmap to success. You guys got that? cspjosh@hotmail.com. By the way, if you're smart, you'll save my email. And then if you have a question, you'll reach out once in a while and ask me a question. I'm happy to answer questions for you. There's a lot of people in this room that already email me and ask me questions when they have them. And so I want to encourage you guys, don't ever hesitate to reach out. I'm here to help. I'm a national trainer with Cutco, and my goal is to help you be successful. So what's interesting is that I might say that to a room of 100 people, and maybe only 3 people actually do it. Wow. Right? I wish 100 did. Just saying. So, number 5, serve others. Serve others. Now, many of you in this room, you may go, but Josh, I haven't sold $500,000. I haven't won silver cups. I haven't had a 10K push yet. That's okay. You don't have to be the best in the world in order to help someone else. But here's what's great. When you do help others be successful, it's the most rewarding feeling in the world. Zig Ziglar has a quote where he says, help enough people get what they want and you'll get everything you want. Help enough people get what they want and you'll get everything you want. And I love to tag on to that and more. How can you help? Are you going to your team meetings and giving a talk? If you're good at something, if you love Cutco or you're really great at selling one piece or a set or something like that, have you told your manager that you'd like to help out somehow? You know, have you talked with your manager about becoming an assistant? Have you taken someone field training yet? Have you gone field training yet? Are you showing up for phone jams or are you sitting at home making phone calls? Here's the deal. Every one of you is here for a reason. You earned your spot at this meeting. And there's somebody who's coming in this week in your office that needs your help. You're already better than they are because you have more experience than they do. You know, Mike Lanzetta donates all sorts of his time to helping people, helping managers, coaching, coming to these meetings. You know, Kathy doesn't pay us to come to these meetings and give these talks, but we do it because we know the value of serving others. The best way to learn is to actually teach. So what can you teach? What's the value that you can bring? What is your #1 strength? And then take the time to help someone learn that strength too. It's really sunk in for me when my original manager, her name's Amy, and she actually gave a talk in a meeting one time, and she's like, listen, we have 20 people in this room right now. Every single one of you is great at least one thing. And if all 20 of you go out and do that one thing really well, we're gonna have 20 people that are really great at one thing. But if each and every one of you goes and trains with each other, and you learn from every person on this team the one thing that they have, suddenly we have 20 people on our team who are great at 20 things. And that team is 100 times more powerful, 1,000 times more powerful, actually exponentially more powerful than the team of 20 that each are good at one thing. You follow? So go field training with everybody. Stay hungry, stay humble, right? And serve others. You'll be amazed at the difference that it would make. Number 6, delay gratification. The simplest way to tell you guys this, don't spend all your money. Don't spend all your money. It's so easy to do, but stop doing it. Build the discipline now. For years, I remember the first year that I made $35,000. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to make 35 grand and have fun. I'll save when I start making, 100 grand. And then what's funny, I said I'll save when I start making 50 grand. That's what I said. That was my goal. Okay, I'm going to go out and make 35 grand to have some fun, and then I'll save when I make 50. And what's funny, the next year I made $60,000. You know how much money I had to show for it at the end of the year? Zero. Yeah, I saved nothing. I actually made more money than my goal, and I still saved zero. And then, I heard enough financial talks from people like Lloyd, people who I look up to, like my financial planner, people, people that are in business, like one of my mentors, Brendan Bouchard. I heard enough financial talks that I was finally like, you know what? I need to stop saying that I'm going to save when I make blank. I just need to start saving now and develop the discipline now. And it's amazing. Like, all I did was I started saving $20 a week. $20 a week. And eventually, that turned into $100 a week, and it turned into, you know, $1,000 a week, and then it just kept growing from there. Now, I don't tell you guys that to impress you. I tell that to impress upon you that it's not about how much you make or how much you save. It's just about developing the habit. It's about developing the discipline. If your goal is to get somewhere in life, you know, money doesn't buy happiness. My financial planner, this is when it clicked with me. He said, Josh, listen, money doesn't buy happiness, but neither does poverty. So we might as well be rich. And I was like, ding! Oh, right. So if you have a hang up on money right now, here's the deal. It's time to let it go. Because it's okay to make money. Money is the tool that gets us where we want to go in life. Money is the reason that people can serve at a high level through charitable contributions. Money is the reason people can take weeks or months off at a time and go on mission trips. Money is the thing that helps us all get where we want to go. And here's the beauty of this job. When you make choices to spend less than you make, to delay your gratification, to say, you know what, I'm not going to go out and party tonight because it's push week. I'm not going to go out and party tonight because I need to study for my test. I'm not going to, you know, I'm not going to buy that new thing. I'm not going to get the new iPhone because it's unnecessary. I already have the one that they just came out with a year ago. I'm not going to buy the new car. I'm going to drive my junker until it dies. My wife is driving the same car she bought 14 years ago. And everybody's like, dude, when are you going to buy a new car? And she's like, when that thing is buried in the ground, then I'll go buy a new car. By the way, we could have a huge, beautiful house. We could have really fancy cars, but we don't. Because we're working towards a bigger future for ourselves, and we're willing to delay our gratification. And when you do that, a little bit at a time now, here's the beauty of our job. You determine your paycheck. You determine how much you make. If you'd have told me 15 years ago, dude, someday you're going to be making 6 figures a year, $250,000 a year or more selling knives, I'd been like, yeah, right. Because nobody was doing it back then. But here we are. And I'm so glad that I developed that habit of saving 20 bucks a week back then, because here's what I've learned. As your income grows, so do your habits. And if you don't have good habits, if you have bad habits, those bad habits grow with you, grow with your income. So develop the good habits now so that when, as you make more money, as you become more successful, as you grow yourself in this business, you have good habits later too. Okay? And then number 7, believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Here's the deal. What's your big dream right now? Believe in your ability to figure it out. That's a choice that you make. It's so easy to say, well, I just don't have the leads. Well, I just don't know how to sell ultimates. Well, I just am not good on the phones. Well, I'm not Mike Lanzetta. Well, you know, I'm just not Kathy Vasquez. Well, I'm just not a good recruiter. Well, you know, I'm just not blah. Those are all bad things to say to yourself, just so you know. The good things to say to yourself is, you know what, I might not have the leads right now, but I believe in my ability to figure out how to get them. I may not have the money right now, but I believe in my ability to get to the place where I do. I may not be a good recruiter now, but I believe in my ability to find the person who can help me become better. Believe in yourself. Believe in your ability to figure it out. And if you develop that habit, if you make that choice every single day, multiple days in a row, for multiple weeks, for multiple months, for multiple years, like any of these choices, what's great is they build into a snowball of success. So what's your big dream? I want you to write it down. I remember I wrote down a dream when I was in my mid-20s. I'm 35 now. I wrote down a dream when I was in my mid-20s, and it said, make $1 million by 30, save $1 million by 40, give away $1 million by 50. Wrote it down. That thing inspired me. When I wrote that dream down, and I didn't just think it, but I actually wrote it down, I was like, holy crap, it scared the crap out of me. I was like, how am I going to do it? I don't know, but I got excited about it. I got inspired by it. I was fearful. I was scared to death of it. But I went after it anyways. And here's what's cool is when you get clarity on what your big dreams are and you make these types of choices, your dreams start to become a reality. It takes time, it takes hard work, you have to take action, you have to implement these things, but eventually they start to happen. I made my first million by 29, and I was 29 in 360 days. 5 days short of my 30th birthday. My wife and I are on path to hit our save goal by 40, 3 years early. And you better believe it's my goal. I'm excited and inspired by the fact that I could actually give away $1 million before I turn 50. What's your goal? It doesn't have to be my goal. It doesn't have to be a big dream like that, but what is it for you? I want you to write it down right now. And I want you to go after it and believe in your ability to figure it out. What's your big goal? What's your big dream for the next 3 months? By January 1, what do you want to have accomplished? In this business, at school, whatever. And then how do you set up your Cutco business so that it can help you achieve that goal faster than you're currently achieving it right now? That's the question you want to be asking yourself. Because here's the beauty of our business. There are people in our business that are successful authors. I know a guy that climbs mountains all around the world. John Rulin has bought like 5 different companies. He owns a manufacturing facility and this and that and blah, blah, blah. You know, the guy's crazy. There are people who own photography businesses. There are people who are leading people like Baldo on the Cutco events team. There are people like Monica Lanzetta who runs an awesome, coaching business and serves people at a really high level through teaching what he's learned at all of his Tony Robbins conferences. There are so many people that are pursuing their dreams because of how they are using their Cutco business. They're using their Cutco business to set them up to pursue their dreams, to bring more of their dream into their life. And every single one of you has that opportunity available too. Maybe you want to be valedictorian this year at high school. Maybe you want to graduate with a 4.0 from college, debt-free. Like only 1% of college students do right now. Maybe you want to open your own business. Maybe you want to work for a big corporation. Maybe you want to save some money. Maybe you want to just buy a new car. Maybe you just want to complete your Cutco demo kit, have all the samples out there. Maybe you want to recruit 100 people onto your team this year. Maybe you want to qualify for President's Banquet. Maybe you want to win a silver cup. Maybe you want to go to Mexico with us in February on the rep trip because you sold 150 grand. Maybe you want to win your first Push Week trophy or be #1 for the first time in Push Week. Maybe you want to have your first $10,000 day. Whatever it is, dream big. Believe in yourself. I'm going to leave you guys with this. 2 of my favorite quotes. Jamie Clark loves to say, it's more important to have a dream than to have a way to achieve it. If the power of our passion is strong enough, then we'll find a way to make it a reality. I didn't know how I was going to make $1 million by the age of 30, but I found a way because I got inspired by my dream and I got passionate about it. And I made good choices that aligned with me accomplishing that goal. And then my good friend John Kane loves to say, we all have the choice to decide to be something or nothing. To be someone or no one. We all have that decision. The choice is yours. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, if I can go from being the kid that was in jail 5 times before I graduated high school, the kid that almost got fired selling Cutco, which I got news for you, it's really, 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 really hard to get fired at this job. I was on that cliff, getting ready to fall off. Luckily, my manager grabbed me by the throat and pulled me back, right? If I can go from being that person to who I am today, you guys can do anything you want. You just have to believe in it and make good choices and go after it. Thank you for your time. Rock it out. See you at SC2.